It might not look like it, but this quiet corner of the Cotswolds is at the forefront of a revolution.
Since World War II, we've become increasingly reliant on agrochemicals and intensive practices to meet production demands. But this progress has come at significant cost. Ever-declining soil health nationwide, a catastrophic loss of habitats that support biodiversity, and farming systems stretched to their limits.
It's a problem that has become increasingly familiar to farmers across the UK.
I've farmed this particular land parcel for 40 years intensively with combinable crops using fertilisers and agrochemicals like most farmers. The land has been exhausted. This year has been a particularly difficult year with very poor yields, with drought. Quality was down. It's a very difficult time for farmers.
Sapperton Wilder is taking a pioneering approach to test realistic, regenerative farming methods and build an ecological, evidence-based case study, finding the balance between food production and nature's recovery.
Across the country, farmers and scientists have been working together to navigate a path to a brighter future. The Sapperton Wilder project near Cirencester is leading the way.
How do we adapt our farms to withstand environmental pressures, while still making the business of farming viable? That's the question we aim to contribute an answer to.
Regenerative farming relies on regenerating the nutrients in the soil. This is done by introducing diverse plants grown on the farm.
The essential elements of regenerative farming are caring for your soil. We don't rely on one or two crops. There's been very good science that natural areas, and particularly flower-rich areas, will be a source of pest predators and pest enemies that reduce the need completely for farms to spray with insecticide.
Diversifying plants is just the first step to activate life below ground. Introducing livestock also contributes to the health of the soil via dung. In fact, soil structure and quality is turbocharged by cattle. Returning to a forage of herbal lays on worn-out arable land.
I think the largest misconception about soil health is that you either sacrifice soil health for profitability or profitability for soil health. But what we're finding is that with regenerative agriculture, you can have both. We live in a microbial world, and so that nutrient cycling needs to come from the microbes first, processing them and bring it up to the plant. And the more we can get them activated, the more nutrients we get to our plant and the fewer fertilizers farmers have to buy.
Making sure the project stacks up financially as well as ecologically is foremost in everyone's mind. Monitoring carbon sequestration to sell as offsetting credits is one option farmers can explore. And wherever possible, reducing expensive inputs not only helps the environment, but can also save on costs.
We're in a transition not only in farming, but also in farming policy. Money is shifting from paying farmers to farm to paying much more for the environmental benefits they're producing. And right now, farmers are faced with a lot of uncertainty, and projects like this, which are able to share the decisions they're making and do so really transparently, play an incredibly important part in helping farmers navigate that really difficult situation.
Improving the farm's biodiversity is at the core of the Sapperton Wilder project.
From a biodiversity perspective, if we really want to understand what's happening in the transition into regenerative farming, we need to look at a wide range of plants and animals and see how they respond to these changes over time. Since the project acquired the farm in 2021, we've been building a pretty robust baseline of ecological data from the soil up, starting with soil sampling, earthworms, reptiles, invertebrates, birds, trying to capture the full picture of what's here so as our management changes, we can track how that ecology changes alongside it.
To build awareness around the methods and hopes for nature recovery, the project has been engaging with the local community.
Helping nature to recover requires more land to be managed differently, both in the scale of the activity and how that management is undertaken. While change can be difficult, nature recovery projects such as Sapperton Wilder are making real strides about thinking carefully about how this change is communicated. The benefits of this are real and ongoing to the local community and those who visit.
The team have been managing habitats to help wildlife by improving hedgerows and wildflower margins, leaving headlands, enhancing wetlands, and planting a crop to feed the birds, as well as supplementing with bird food over the winter.
We've got a block of land on the farm which is relatively poor arable farmland. So we are actually converting that into a grassland area, and we will be able to manage that through adaptive grazing. So we'll still be able to get revenue from the cattle off of that, as well as we have a revenue stream from biodiversity credits.
To help speed up restoration, the farmers used wildflower seed harvested locally to enrich the variety of species in the grassland.
I used to farm this prior to the project being involved, and we did intensively farm it. So the past 4 years of being here, it really does bring me a bit of joy to see the wildlife coming back in, and over a relatively short period of time.
Bringing back habitat opportunities for wildlife is something the wider community is excited to get behind.
I remember far more wildlife around when I was younger than now, and you took it for granted, and now it's depleted. So being able to help was really rewarding. It's really special to witness so many people of all ages and backgrounds joining forces to help plant trees and hedgerows on one of their local farms.
Planting trees across the farmland isn't just about biodiversity, though. Growing trees for timber, fruit, and nuts offers new revenue potential and resilience to the farming system.
One of the most exciting things about the project at Sapperton is the scale of ambition around the agroforestry. Agroforestry is super exciting. The scope for it to allow us to do more with the same amount of land is just incredible, because when you do put trees in fields, then it's almost like making more land, because you're using the light better, you're using the depth of the soil better, and so you get more production out of the same area of land.
Sapperton Wilder is still a work in progress, but along with a handful of other similar projects across the country, it's pointing the way towards a brighter future for farming in the UK.
We're not perfect, particularly as we establish new systems, but we are making strides to showcase what's feasible for most farmers and crucially create a resilient, biodiverse and healthy farming system for the future.
The farm is already starting to see shifts in abundance and diversity of species. For example, woodlark have been taking advantages of the changes in how the land is managed, and with surveys repeated annually, many more changes will become evident in time.
It shouldn't be either food or biodiversity. We need to be able to value both and give farmers the recognition that they're central to this.
Regenerative farming thrives when the whole system functions together, when both profitable food production and nature recovery enrich one another.
What drives this project is being aware how much more potential there is on productive farmland to help nature. The vision I have for Sapperton Wilder long term is one where this land goes on for hundreds of years, and it continues to both feed people whilst showing how we can restore biodiversity and manage habitats. so we can contribute to the evolution of sustainable farming systems.
I'm really excited to see how far we can push the boundaries.
What excites me about this project is having the evidence, capturing the data, being able to present it to other farmers, giving them hope for the future and hope for the industry.